Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another dispatch. And I thought I would now read from this book that I just recently published, Power and Presence, a Handbook for Painting in Our Time. So this is my contribution to the situation that we're all finding ourselves in, whether that's our painting practice or looking around at the world and what is happening. And I am attempting in this book to relate those things together, actually, and to try to describe meaning for us as painters, both individually and what that might mean now for us in this time. So I thought I would read from some of this and maybe do that for a few of these dispatches and read bits. I'm certainly not going to read the whole thing. It's just, that would be a long thing. But I'm going to start with the introduction. That seems like a decent place to start. And I'd love to hear your comments along the way. If any of you have thoughts or comments about any of this, please. Some of you write and post, on the YouTube post. That's great. I love seeing that. Thank you. And I invite you all. I'd love to hear from you. Or just email me. Okay, introduction. In the summer of 2002, I was making my way back to the United States after living abroad for 10 years. My girlfriend and I had stopped over in London on the way and decided to visit the Tate Modern. It had opened in the former Bankside Power Station 2 years prior, and this was my first visit. Walking through the museum's galleries, I saw that the curation was a departure from the standard use of chronology to organize the art. Instead, they had decided to display the work according to strategy, that is, by the strategies the artists deployed in making their art. Similar strategies would then be hung together. One notable example that stayed with me over the years was the placement of a late Cézanne landscape near a piece by Michael Craig Martin. The work by Craig Martin entailed a small glass of water placed on a glass shelf entitled An Oak Tree. The accompanying wall text read, "The actual oak tree is physically present, but in the form of a glass of water." It was unclear to me what the strategy for the room was and what it had to do with Cézanne's painting. I don't remember now the other conceptual pieces in the gallery, but I do remember that there was a Bonnard and nearby Matisse's extraordinary paper cut, The Snail. I also remember being shocked and dismayed, not by the juxtaposition of the Cézanne with the Craig Martin, but in the difficulty I had accessing the Cézanne landscape's felt presence. Something about the arrangement of the work in the gallery functioned to veil the power and presence of that painting. I was upset. I decided to take a break and try to find a little solace in the museum bookstore. Finding solace with books, it's a familiar kind of. Okay. There, combing through the shelves, I chanced upon a newish release by John Berger, The Shape of a Pocket. Sitting down, I made my way through the second essay in the collection, Steps Towards a Small Theory of the Visible, for Eve. In this brief essay, Berger managed to elucidate and respond to the very situation I was finding myself in. The timing was extraordinary, a gift. In relation to the realm of the visible and the subsequent engagement with painting. Berger described the recent development of disembodied seeing and the loss of necessity. Quote, today, images abound everywhere. Never has so much been depicted and watched. Now, appearances are volatile. Technological innovation has made it easy to separate the apparent from the existent. And this is precisely what the present system's mythology continually needs to exploit. It turns appearances into refractions, like mirages. Refractions not of light, but of appetite. The appetite for more. We live within a spectacle of empty clothes and unworn masks, no bodies and no necessity. For necessity is the condition of the existent. It is what makes reality real. Berger ended his essay with these words. Today, to try to paint the existent is an act of resistance, instigating hope. The essay worked in me like a tonic, like an antidote, spreading through my body and mind, clearing some kind of cloudiness. I understood that the great paintings of modernity in the galleries above were attempting to paint the existent, to paint an expression of necessity and life. The conceptual pieces with which they were displayed worked, whether intentionally or not, to muffle, flatten, and veil that life force through an energetic gauze, a kind of disembodying engagement. The museum, as a powerful cultural institution, seemed to be directing us towards a particularly affective flattening and anesthetizing future. I didn't understand the implications, but I could feel that something significant was occurring in my journey. A little bit more here, maybe. John Berger's essay pointed me in a direction of hope and resistance. It deepened my interest in the existent. It sharpened my curiosity about the nature of necessity, a word my painting teachers had often used. The visit to the Tate Modern was 23 years ago. In the time since, we have seen the introduction of smartphones, social media, and the relentless, incessant press on our attention of algorithmic, digitized imagery. At the same time, during those years, I have felt the continued pull and tug of painting in the studio and in my life. I have also had the good fortune to encounter and deepen relationships with fellow painters and students who have been experiencing this same pull and tug. Faced with apparently dwindling cultural relevance, I found myself deepening an inquiry into the meaning and necessity of painting today. This book is the result. Along with attempting to provide an understanding of the essential nature of painting as I have experienced it, this book is also an attempt to provide a larger cultural context, in a sense, recontextualizing the place of painting in our world. The art world as a cultural environment carries particular assumptions and associations. There are aspects of the deeper nature of painting, I believe, that may or may not participate in that world. What else might painting be? All right, one more part and then I'll stop. Beyond simply gaining a cultural understanding, The attempt at clarity of context is also an endeavor to empower and energize our engagement with painting. I believe the activity of painting carries enormous significance and meaning. I also believe this significance and meaning has, by and large, become veiled in today's art world. This book is an attempt to frame and return to our understanding of painting, the existential felt meaning that lies within it. As a painter, I wish for my painting practice to dig in deep, to awaken me and help keep me awake. As a teacher, I wish to equip my students with the tools and wherewithal when they paint to be empowered, to dig in deep, to awaken and keep themselves awake. This book is an attempt to further these desires. All right, there's more, but yeah, right, the book. Okay, there you go. Hope you're all well and making stuff. And I'm gonna go work. Okay, take good care. Be well.